you should be a monster. You know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it.
Right.
I love it. Yeah, I've seen that before.
But yeah, I've just been thinking about that clip for a while. Because I guess my first question is like, what's the difference between being a monster and a villain?
Oh, there's a fine line. I think it's easy. I mean, a villain and a monster, well, the monster in the Jordan Peterson sense, you know, a monster who does good or is capable of a lot of destruction, but, you know, fosters it for good. That's it. Is the villain serves only himself or herself, and the monster who has his sword sheathed or he has it contained or knows when to bring out the monster, he's serving a higher cause than himself. And ultimately that would be, you know, well, starting with others and probably the weakest in the world, the defenseless, and then ultimately God. Because, you know, the Christian knows that God is all good, and he is all the more protecting the innocent. So yeah, the monster, is that the word you use, monster?
Yeah, monster, yeah. Because he
or
doesn't
maybe the
just say-
warrior, we'll call him the warrior.
Yeah.
Because the monster to me is ambiguous.
Right, well that's why it's like a little bit confusing, because I don't know, a monster is like, he's not just saying be tough, he's saying be a monster.
Yeah.
And that's like, well.
Yeah, you're capable of major destruction, I think is the point of saying that word. But that destruction is, again, harnessed.
Yeah.
For good.
So why do you think it's important that like men be capable of major destruction? Like, can't we all just get along without having to do that?
Yeah, if there was no evil. If there were no villains.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea is, you know, of the American project is we, for better or for worse, kind of subdued every other nation. And now we can actually, you know, have a civilization where people can be, you know, kind to each other. Not everyone is kind here, but we're a lot less savage than we were, you know, in the Roman Empire, because we have a relatively peaceful society compared to that. And so you don't have to be a warrior to survive.
Yeah.
Because someone before us did all the work, and now it's relatively peaceful. But I think Jordan and Joe Rogan know that, well, that's only a matter of time, and there's still other villains out there that aren't as tangible as, say, like the barbarians. Right?
So it's like not naivety, but a little bit like thinking that you're not gonna have to confront evil, I guess.
Yeah, and in the end, the biggest villain we often face is ourselves.
Right.
Like that very desire to serve ourselves needs to be kept in check.
Right.
And it takes a courageous person to do that. It takes a warrior. So, even that. Otherwise, yeah, if all you do is indulge in temporary pleasure, I mean, you might not be a villain in the sense that you are capable of a lot of destruction, but you're certainly probably not happy, and you're not helping anybody.
Right. That's something that I think about a lot. Well, actually, I was having a conversation with my dad about my mom and just like moms in general. I think sometimes it's tough if you're maybe only raised by a mom, or like your mom is your primary like caregiver, you know?
Yeah.
That I think mom's natural instinct is to like nurture
Right.
and to like shelter a
Yep.
little bit, you know?
Those are two good words for what
But-
moms do well.
Yeah, and those are obviously super needed. But I think, and I was talking to my dad about this, like, you can't be a man who's innocent almost. Like, not innocent in like a purity way, but like if you've never seen like some of the evils of the world,
Right.
I think it's like, it's tough because eventually you're gonna run into them, you know, and if you've either been prepared for them in a, you know, environment where you can go to people, whether it be like your parents or someone else, or like you're gonna be really shocked and really surprised
Yeah.
and not know how to handle stuff, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jesus said it pretty well, be innocent as doves and wise as serpents.
yeah,
And yeah, I think the mom wants us to often be as innocent as doves, which is
Right.
half the equation.
sure.
It shouldn't be neglected. But
Yeah.
then, as you said, if that's all you are, you're probably naive and
Yeah,
more prone to fall victim to the evils of the world.
interesting. Yeah, so the other question coming off of what Jordan Peterson said was, he says, you know, be a monster and then learn how to control it.
Right.
So how do you like practically become a monster and then learn how to control it? Like what are practical ways, I guess, without like, I don't know, breaking major laws?
Yeah, I think we need a mentor who is one of those. Who's that guy you showed me, the martial art guy who?
Jason Wilson.
Yeah, he seems like he's a monster.
Yeah.
But he teaches the boys to be tough as nails,
Yeah.
but simultaneously teaching them that, you know, crying, you know, can be manly,
Yeah.
to express emotion,
Right.
you know, so he's teaching them how to be men. And it's so
Right.
beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
These boys without probably strong father figures just being transformed by this guy.
Yeah.
So I think you can't do it without a mentor, a man who is a monster, but also a gentleman.
Who's already learned to control it. basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, like I said, when you interviewed me a few months ago, you got to do hard and
Yeah.
and that mentor is going to make you do hard.
Yeah.
He's going to push you harder than you thought you could go every day. He's going to stretch you a little more.
Yeah.
So, you know, sports are the typical way for boys in the modern world. You know, wrestling, football,
Yeah.
rugby, weightlifting. Most sports do it, right? Some do it a little more. Like contact sports make you tougher in a way that maybe non-contact sports do. But obviously, like I said, the biggest thing we need to confront is ourselves, our weakness. So any sport that makes you push yourself is going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
You know, ideally that the same mentor knows how to work hard, you know, do manual labor, you know, not just sports, but
Yeah.
knows how to work around the house, or, you know, I love chopping down trees and cutting them up. That's, I think, stuff like that where you got to get dirty. So yeah, I think that's number one. And then pushing yourself to do hard things.
Yeah.
Like if you're ever confronted with something you don't want to do because it's hard, you probably should do it actually.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously don't take unnecessary risks, but like that are possibly going to kill you or
Right.
severely harm you permanently. But yeah, if it's something that kind of scares you at first, maybe that should be something you just confront.
Yeah, that's actually, that reminds me of another Jordan Peterson quote where he says, like, to become a man and to grow, you should put yourself under, like, as much, I don't think he uses the word pain. I think he says, you should carry as much weight as you can bear voluntarily.
Yeah.
Because if you voluntarily carry it, then when the weights of the world get put on you, you're used to it and you know how to deal with it. Versus like if you've never, you know, experienced that, and obviously he's talking metaphorically, but if you've never experienced any weight before and then the weight of the world comes at you and you have to carry it because that's all you can do, you're
Right.
not going to be ready for it, you know?
Exactly. And that's why, you know, so many boys, so many males that gravitate toward him, because
Yeah.
there's not a lot of tough guys
Yeah.
who are speaking truth like that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of, you know, tough guys in the gym, in
Right.
sports, but they're not often spewing wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah. Same with Joe Rogan. for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, that's why I love the Jason Wilson guy, going back to him again, just because he's super soft spoken. Like you can tell he really thinks before he speaks. Like it's not just words are just coming out of his mouth. Like he's very wise. But at the same time, it's like, you know, that dude could throw down.
Oh,
if he
yeah.
had to, you
Yeah,
know?
those boys respect him.
Like, I would not want to mess with him.
Yep.
But
Yeah, there's a fine line between respect and fear.
yeah. Ooh, that'd be a good topic for another day too.
Yeah. Do something that you've been putting off out of fear.
Ooh.
Whether it's, you know, asking that girl out, texting that girl, or just talking to the girl. I mean, it doesn't have to just be girls. Maybe it's a teacher that, you know, is, you guys don't seem to see eye to eye. Maybe talking to the teacher and just being respectful, but kind of just laying it out there. Or maybe you're one of your parents or a friend that, you know,
Yeah.
is bugging you. So do something hard that you've been putting off.